What is up, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video, and today we're going to discover what classes are. So I'm going to rename this file to classes because we're teaching classes, not functions. So remember, if you haven't watched any of the previous videos, you definitely should check that out because this is more advanced because I've been going through everything you need to know in Python from step by step. So it is in order. So look at the playlist. It is in order, and you can see it where my channel is. But with that said, let's get right into it. So last time we covered functions, and functions do certain things. But what about classes? Why do I need a class? Well, if you look at the modern world, right, we have things like dogs, we have things like humans, we have things like cars, and all these things are different, and they have their own functions, right? Like we covered the Fibonacci sequence, but a human wouldn't really need the Fibonacci sequence. A car doesn't really do that, right? A car barks. Sorry, my fault. I don't know what I was thinking. A car makes, for example, we could have one kind of function for each of these different entities. For example, a human would talk, a car would roar, make an engine sound, right? And then a dog would make a barking noise. Now, all of these three methods are the same. They're both the sound that the object makes, but they're different because they're different objects. In that case, objects in Python are known as classes, and a class can be created once and initialized multiple times. For example, I can have one human, but I can have one human object, right? One type of human, but I can create different instances of that human. So I could have Robert is now a human. Joseph is now a human. Roberto is now a human. All of them are humans, but they are different instances, right? They're different people, but they're all human. So that's what classes are for. So with that said, I will jump right into it. That was a brief explanation. I'm trying to do this as fast as possible, so we'll get right into it. So if I said class car, right? This is how you create a class. I'll just like so you have a class and then you have a class name. As you can see, I use comments to explain the template. So you have class name, and then you would have an initialization function. So we covered functions before, right? They look like this, right? X, Y, return x plus y, right? This is a function that adds numbers. Well, what if I wanted that to be different, right? So in this case, we're going to create a class, right? So for my class, there's always uh, an initialization function. So in order to create this class, or to create this human being, right, I'm going to need to give it a few values, right? Like what's the name of the person, etc. And in order to do that, you need to type in underscore underscore init underscore underscore. Now, init is short form for initialize. Okay, so when the object is first created, we need to know certain things about it. For example, for example, if I were to create a human baby in this program, right, I would need to know things like its name, its ethnicity, etc. And that's what would be in this function. Okay. Now the difference between functions and class functions is that this is usually called a method. So this is basically a function, but for specific classes. Okay, so each class can have a different function, initialization function. Okay, um, and these and also basically what was I trying to say? Yeah, these are called methods. Okay, so these functions that are for classes are called methods. Okay, so I can have this. And the first thing you want to write is self. Right now it won't make that much sense, but I'll get into it later. Self means it's referring to this object itself. So if I had Joe as a human and Bob as a human, when I refer to self, I'm referring to the specific individuals. Okay, and then you always need to write self first, and then you can write whatever other arguments you want, right? Like argument one, argument two, right? Just like a function. So I could say name and then age, right? In this case, arg1, 2. And then what you can do is you can create different properties. So you can say property 1 self dot property, right? 1 is equal to the argument. So whatever you've given in the arguments becomes a part of the current object. So property 2 equal to arg2. Okay, I just need to comment these out so make more sense. Okay, so in that case, if I want to create class human, right, then I'll need to follow the same steps. I'll need to create an initialization method, and then I need to give in name, age, ethnicity. Okay, and then I would have my first property. And you always have to write self and then a dot and then the property name. So self.name is equal to name. You might think this is repetitive, but these are the arguments that you're giving, right? That you're asking for, and these are the actual properties. So usually you would have the name of the properties would usually be the same as the arguments. But what you can do is you could obviously do something with the arguments and then set them to equal to the property, right? Self dot ethnicity is equal to ethnicity. Okay. And let's say I wanted to say hello. Okay, so this human, right? This is a function within a human class, but it's called a method. So this method, hello, is where the human can say hello. So I can say, and you always need to have self in it, and then you have to, we could say print self.name. So what this will do is it will print out the name of the person each time we use this hello function. To create a class, an instance of a class, we can say you need to create a variable. So I'll say Joseph is equal to human, okay? And as soon as you put these brackets, right, that's now, we're now creating a human. We need to do whatever is in the initialization function. That's what we put in here. So we just, you don't type in self. Okay, self is referring to Joseph, right? That's hidden. You don't type in self. You just type in the other argument. So in this case, I say Joseph, right, as a string, and then an age is a number. So like 20, and then ethnicity is, we could just say European, right? Okay, and now we could print, we could say Joseph, okay, dot, and then hello. Okay, I don't think I spelled Joseph here correctly. So Joseph dot hello. Hello. Dot hello. And as you can see, you don't need to write in self, right? Here, there's self being required here, right? And that's for the class itself. But the only thing you need to give in is any of the arguments extra. So here I give the name, age, ethnicity. Here's just self, so I don't have to give in anything. And now I should look what happened is, what is Joseph's name? It's Joseph, right? So that's what's going to happen when I print it out. Okay, let's run this. Look, we have Joseph, okay? Now maybe I also want to print the age of Joseph. So I do self.age. Print self.ethnicity, right? Now we can be really creative. We can say, because I want to keep this video short, I'll just say my name is, right? And then self.name, and then another space, and my age is self.age, and my ethnicity is self.ethnicity. Okay, let's make sure that this is all correct. Have some spaces in between so you don't have cluttered text. Seems like something's going on here. I'm missing something. Okay, that was not close. Interesting. Perhaps I forgot a comma. Oh, yeah. This is another string, so it needs a comma. And then you can run this, and look, when I say hello, Joseph.hello, what happens is for any amount, like I could create Joseph, I could create Bob, whatever, but it's going to run this. It's going to say my name is self.name, self.age, self-ethnicity. In this case, I gave in these values, so now it's telling me my name is Joseph and my age is 20 and my ethnicity is European. So with that said, that is classes in a very basic view, and I will see you guys in the next one.